His mouth was on hers before she could pull the trigger. Not a kiss, a weapon. Lucien Morel tasted like gunpowder and expensive whiskey, and the hand wrapped around Amina Okoro's wrist wasn't gentle. Her Glock 19 pressed between their bodies, barrel aimed at his heart, but he didn't seem to care. He kissed her like a man with nothing to lose, like the rooftop beneath their feet wasn't slick with fountain water and blood, like half of Marrakech's underworld police weren't 30 seconds from crashing through the terrace door. "You're making a mistake," he whispered against her lips, accent thick as honey. Amina's training screamed at her to shoot. 6 months of tracking this French arms dealer across North Africa. And she had him. But his other hand, the one not controlling her gun hand, slid to the small of her back, pulling her closer, and her body betrayed her with a shiver that had nothing to do with the evening breeze. "The mistake," she managed, breathless and furious, "was thinking you could run from me." He laughed, actually laughed, the sound rumbling through his chest into hers. "Run? Cherie, I've been waiting for you to catch up." Then smoke exploded around them, gray and choking, and his weight vanished. By the time Amina's eyes stopped watering, Lucien Morel had disappeared into Marrakech's maze of terracotta roofs and shadows, leaving her with empty hands, a racing heart, and a playing card tucked into her tactical vest. The Queen of Hearts, with a phone number written in elegant script across the Queen's face. What Amina didn't know, what would haunt her in 3 weeks when Interpol forced them to work together, when his hands would map every inch of her body in a Marseille safe house, when she'd discover the kill contract with her name on it, was that Lucien Morel had been hired to murder her 6 months ago. And he'd refused the job the moment he saw her face. The hammam turned black market beneath Marrakech's spice district smelled like cardamom and corruption. Amina adjusted her leather jacket, feeling the weight of her concealed weapon against her ribs, and surveyed the crowd of buyers with practiced disinterest. Interpol's intelligence was solid. Lucien Morel would be here, selling stolen French military technology to the highest bidder. She'd memorized his file until she could recite it in her sleep. 34 years old. Former French Foreign Legion, discharged under suspicious circumstances. Current occupation, arms dealer, smuggler, and general international headache. Interpol had been chasing him for 3 years. She'd been chasing him for 6 months, ever since the Lagos incident that killed 2 agents. This was her first major solo takedown. She couldn't afford to fail. "Mademoiselle," a dealer approached her, mistaking her for a bodyguard. "Your employer is interested in the merchandise?" Amina nodded, playing her role as security for a Moroccan crime boss. Her eyes swept the converted bathing room. Amber. Lighting, low archways, men in expensive suits examining weapons like art collectors at a gallery. Then she saw him. Lucien Morel stood across the space, tall and easy in his confidence. 6'2", broad shoulders, a scar cutting through his jawline like someone had tried and failed to kill him. He wore dark jeans and a fitted shirt, casual among the suits, and he was laughing at something an Algerian dealer had said. He looked nothing like a monster. He looked like trouble wrapped in a smile that probably got him out of or into anything he wanted. Their eyes met across the room. The smile faded. His gaze sharpened, traveling from her face down her body and back up, assessing. Recognition flickered, not of her specifically, but of what she represented. Danger, opposition, a threat wrapped in curves and determination. Amina held his stare, refusing to look away first. "You're mine," she thought. "You just don't know it yet." His lips curved. He lifted his glass in a mock toast, then turned back to his conversation like she was nothing. That dismissal burned. Good. Anger kept her sharp. The auction began. Amina positioned herself near the exit, watching Morel conduct business with the ease of a man who'd done this 100 times. He spoke French, Arabic, English, switching languages mid-sentence, charming buyers and sellers alike. When he demonstrated a modified rifle scope, his hands moved with practiced precision. Those hands had killed people, had armed conflicts that destroyed families like hers. Amina's brother's face flashed in her memory. David, 22, caught in a Lagos market bombing. The investigation traced the explosives back to a European arms network, a network with threads leading to Lucien Morel. She touched her earpiece. Target confirmed, preparing to move. Negative, her handler's voice crackled. Wait for local support. The hammam's entrance exploded. Not literally, Moroccan special forces poured through the door, weapons raised, shouting commands. The raid her team had coordinated, arriving 15 minutes early because someone had terrible timing. Chaos erupted, dealers scattered. Amina drew her weapon, eyes locked on Morel, who'd already moved, not toward any exit, but toward a service corridor she'd noted in the blueprints. She ran. Marrakech's rooftops at dusk were a parkour course designed by chaos. Amina vaulted over a low wall, landed hard on terracotta tiles still warm from the sun, and spotted Morel 3 buildings ahead. "Stop!" she shouted, knowing he wouldn't. He glanced back, grinned, and kept running. The evening call to prayer echoed across the city as Amina chased him across rooftop after rooftop. He was fast, military training obvious in how he moved, but she was faster, smaller, lighter, and she'd spent months studying his patterns. Morel slid down an awning. Amina followed, feeling fabric tear under her boots. He leaped a gap between buildings. She jumped without hesitation, tucked and rolled, on landing. "You're persistent," he called back, not even winded. "I like that." "I'm going to enjoy arresting you," she shouted. "Promises, promises." They reached a private terrace, someone's rooftop garden, lush with plants and centered by a decorative fountain. Morel spun, assessing his options. No easy exits. 3-story drop on all sides. Amina raised her weapon. End of the line. He raised his hands, but his expression held no fear, just curiosity, sharp and bright. "Interpol? On your knees. Buy me dinner first." She closed the distance in 2 strides and tackled him. They hit the fountain hard, water exploding around them. The impact drove the air from her lungs, but she held on, using momentum to pin him against the fountain's edge. Her gun pressed to his chest. Her body covered his. Water soaked through both their clothes. For 3 seconds, neither moved. Up close, he was even more devastating. Water dripped from dark hair, and his eyes, gray as winter in Paris, studied her face like she was a puzzle he wanted to solve. The scar on his jaw was old, long healed. His chest rose and fell under her weight, heart beating steady despite the chase. "You're Interpol," he said, voice low. Not a question. "Lucien Morel, you're under arrest. And you're beautiful when you're angry." Amina slammed his head back against the fountain rim, not hard enough to cause real damage, just enough to hurt. "Shut up." His laugh was breathless, delighted. "Make me." Heat flooded her body, unwelcome and infuriating. This close, she could see the flecks of blue in his gray eyes, could feel the solid muscle of his body beneath hers, could smell the cologne mixed with sweat and adrenaline. Focus. She was a professional. She'd trained for this. But her training hadn't prepared her for the way he looked at her, like she was the most interesting thing that had happened to him in years. Like getting caught was worth it, just for this moment. "I've been waiting for you," he said quietly. "What?" 6 months. I knew someone was tracking me, didn't know it would be you. Amina's response died in her throat as something small and metallic hit the terrace. She had 1 second to register the smoke grenade before gray vapor exploded around them. Training kicked in. She tightened her grip on Morel, but he moved, faster than she anticipated. His hand found her wrist, twisted just enough to redirect her weapon without hurting her, and suddenly, she was the one pressed against the fountain's edge. But he didn't hurt her, didn't take the gun, just held her there in the smoke, his body a solid wall against hers, faces inches apart. "Next time, Sherry," he whispered, breath warm against her lips. "Don't hesitate." His mouth almost touched hers, not quite a kiss, just the promise of one. Then he was gone, vaulting over the terrace edge like gravity was optional. By the time the smoke cleared and Amina could see again, Lucien Morel had vanished into Marrakech's labyrinth. She stood there, soaked and breathing hard, weapons still drawn but aimed at nothing. Her earpiece crackled with her team demanding status updates, but she couldn't form words yet. Something brushed against her ribs. She reached into her jacket and found a playing card tucked into her vest pocket. The Queen of Hearts. Expensive cardstock, the kind used in casinos, and written across the Queen's face in elegant handwriting, a phone number, Marseille area code, the absolute audacity. Amina should have been furious. She was furious. But beneath the anger, something else flickered, something dangerous that felt suspiciously like excitement. "Explain to me," her supervisor said 3 hours later in a bland hotel conference room, "how you had the target pinned and lost him." Amina sat straight in her chair, clothes dried but still smelling of fountain water. Smoke grenade. He was prepared for pursuit. You should have been prepared for that. She should have. But she'd been distracted by gray eyes and the way he'd looked at her like she was worth abandoning an escape route for. Professional failure, personal, something she didn't want to examine. I'll find him again, Amina said firmly. You'd better. This was your chance to prove you could handle a major operation solo. Her supervisor closed the file with a snap. The Lagos incident, I know that was personal, your brother. But personal doesn't catch criminals, Agent Okoro. Professionalism does. After he left, Amina pulled out the playing card, staring at the phone number. She should turn it in as evidence, she should report it immediately. Instead, she tucked it back into her pocket. In her hotel room that night, she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt Lucien Morel's body beneath hers, heard his voice promising there would be a next time. She hated that part of her wanted to call the number. She hated more that another part of her already knew she would. What Amina didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that in a Marseille apartment overlooking the old port, Lucien Morel sat staring at his own phone, at a message from his employer, time-stamped 6 months ago. And his response, typed that same day after seeing her photo in the file. He'd been running from her for 6 months. Not because he feared getting caught, because he feared what would happen when she finally caught him. 3 weeks after Marrakech, Amina Okoro walked into an Interpol briefing room and stopped dead. Lucien Morel sat at the conference table, looking annoyingly comfortable in a French police station. He'd shaved since their rooftop encounter, but the scar still cut through his jaw, and those winter gray eyes tracked her entrance with undisguised interest. "What the hell is this?" Amina demanded. Her supervisor gestured to an empty chair. "Sit down, Agent Okoro." "No, not until someone explains why an international arms dealer is sitting in on an Interpol briefing." Morel smiled. "Bonjour to you too, chérie." "Don't call me that." "Would you prefer the beautiful woman who almost arrested me? Bit long, but I'll make it work." "I prefer the agent who's going to finish the job." "Enough," her supervisor snapped. "Agent Okoro, sit." "Morel, shut up." He waited until she reluctantly took a seat, as far from Morel as possible, before continuing. "We've intercepted communications about a major arms deal, a floating casino party on a yacht in Marseille, 1 week from now. Couples only, high-level smugglers and buyers. This is our chance to take down the entire network." Amina nodded slowly. "And you need me to go undercover?" "We need both of you." The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. "Absolutely not," Amina said. "Not my first choice either," Morel added cheerfully, "but I'm adaptable." Her supervisor ignored them both. "Morel has agreed to cooperate in exchange for immunity." "Immunity?" Amina's voice rose. "He's an arms dealer. A well-connected arms dealer who can get us inside that yacht. He has contacts, credibility in that world. You have combat training and investigative skills. Together, you'll pose as a mercenary couple looking to expand operations." "This is insane." "This is your chance to salvage your career after the Marrakech failure," her supervisor said coldly. "Or would you prefer desk duty?" The threat landed like a punch. Amina's jaw tightened. "She'll do it," Morel said. "Won't you, mon cœur?" Amina turned to glare at him. He leaned back in his chair, completely at ease, like this was all tremendously entertaining. "Stop calling me that," she hissed. "We're supposed to be a couple. I'm practicing." "Practice in hell." The Marseille safe house overlooked the old port, all sterile furniture and windows that couldn't open. Amina dropped her bag by the door and surveyed the space. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a small kitchen. Intimate quarters for people who were supposed to be in love. "I'll take the couch," Morel said from behind her. "You'll take whatever I don't shoot you for." "So romantic already," she spun on him. "Let's get something clear. This is a professional operation. We go in, plant the tracking devices, get out. I don't care about your immunity deal or your cooperation. The second you step out of line, I will put you down." He stepped closer, moving into her space with the confidence of a man who didn't fear guns. Up close, he smelled like expensive cologne and something darker. Danger, maybe. Or just the memory of Marrakech's rooftops. "I believe you," he said quietly. "But you need to believe something too. I'm good at this. I've been undercover more times than you filed reports. If we're going to survive that yacht, you need to trust me. Trust the criminal. Great plan. Trust the man who's kept you alive this far. You mean the man who ran from me? His smile was sharp. I ran because I didn't want to hurt you. There's a difference. Before she could respond, he moved past her to the kitchen, pulling out files from his bag. We need to memorize a relationship history. How we met, how long we've been together, intimate details that couples would know. Amina joined him reluctantly at the small table, spreading out the fabricated documents. Fine. We met 2 years ago in Istanbul. No. He pulled out a pen, crossing out lines. Too cliché. Arms dealers don't meet cute. We met in Kinshasa during a weapons exchange. You were there acquiring for a West African militia. I was selling. We both got caught in a firefight with government forces. I saved your life. You were impressed. Impressed? Grateful? He glanced up, eyes dancing. Attracted? How about annoyed? That works too. Annoyance is just attraction with clothes on. Heat crept up her neck. Focus on the mission. For the next 2 hours, they built their fake history. With each invented detail, Morel seemed to know things he shouldn't. How she took her coffee, black 2 sugars, the scar on her left shoulder blade from a motorcycle accident in Lagos, the way she drummed her fingers when thinking. How do you know that? She demanded when he mentioned the scar. I research everyone who might kill me. He said it casually, like stalking was just good business practice. You're just more interesting than most. That's creepy. That's survival. He leaned back, studying her. You've been hunting me for 6 months. Don't pretend you haven't memorized every detail of my file. She had. She knew he'd been discharged from the Legion for disobeying orders during a civilian evacuation. Knew his mother was Algerian, his father, French. Knew he'd once walked away from a $2 million deal because the buyers planned to use the weapons on a hospital. She knew too much about him. That was the problem. The dress arrived the day before the yacht party, a red number that left very little to imagination. Amina stared at it like it might bite her. You'll look stunning, Morel said from the doorway. It's tactical camouflage. It's also stunning. That evening, they practiced being comfortable with each other, holding hands, casual touches, the appearance of intimacy that would sell their cover. Each contact felt electric and wrong and somehow inevitable. Your hand is tense, Morel said, holding her fingers. Relax. We're supposed to be in love. We're supposed to be convincing. There's a difference. Is there? His thumb traced her knuckles. Because I'm fairly convinced already. Convinced of what? That this is going to be complicated. She pulled her hand away. It's not complicated. You're a criminal. I'm an agent. This is a job. Of course. His expression was unreadable. Just a job. In her hotel room that night, she tried on the dress. It fit perfectly, too perfectly, like someone had measured her while she slept. The fabric clung to every curve, the slit reached mid-thigh, and the back was a whisper of lace across her spine. A knock on the door. She grabbed a robe. Morel stood in the hallway, holding a jewelry box. Thought you might need this for tomorrow. Inside was a necklace, diamonds, real ones, arranged in a delicate pattern. The kind of gift a mercenary boyfriend might give his mercenary girlfriend. Props, he said at her questioning look. Everything has to be authentic. She let him in, turning so he could clasp the necklace. His fingers brushed the back of her neck and she fought a shiver. You need to practice wearing the dress, he said quietly. Make sure you can move in it. I'm fine. Amina, the first time he'd used her real name. Please. She didn't know why she agreed. Maybe because he'd said please, maybe because part of her wanted to see his reaction. She changed in the bathroom, emerged in the red dress. The look on his face was worth every ounce of discomfort. Mon Dieu, he breathed. It's just tactical. Come here. She moved toward him, hyper-aware of the dress's movement, the cool air on her back. He reached for the zipper at her neck. She'd left it deliberately undone as an excuse. His fingers found the pull. Slowly, carefully, he drew it up, his knuckles grazing her spine with each inch. Neither of them breathed. When he finished, his hands rested on her shoulders. They stood like that, her back to his chest, caught in a moment that felt nothing like a mission. This doesn't mean anything, she whispered. Of course not. His thumb traced her shoulder blade, right over the scar he'd mentioned knowing. But we should be convincing. She turned to face him. Dangerous territory this close. I'm very good at my job. So am I. He stepped closer, closing the last inch between them. The question is, which job are we talking about? Her breath caught. Lucien. The undercover operation? His hand slid to her waist. Or the part where we're both pretending this is just professional. It is just professional. Liar. She should step back. Should enforce boundaries. Should remember he was a criminal and she was an agent, and none of this was real. Instead, she fisted her hands in his shirt. Tomorrow. We'll be convincing tomorrow. And tonight? Tonight you leave, before I do something stupid. He studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. But before he left, he leaned in, mouth near her ear. For what it's worth, Sherry, you're making this impossible. After he left, Amina sat on the bed in the red dress, diamonds cold against her throat, and wondered when exactly she'd lost control of this situation. The converted drug lord's yacht was obscene luxury. All white leather and gold fixtures, champagne flowing like water, Mediterranean stars overhead like diamonds scattered on velvet. Amina adjusted her dress and took Lucien's offered arm, playing her role perfectly. They'd briefed for hours, plant tracking devices in the cargo hold, identify the network's key players, get out clean, simple, professional, nothing complicated. Then the music started, bachata, slow and sultry, and Lucien pulled her onto the dance floor. We need to blend in, he murmured, hand sliding to her lower back. This is blending? This is survival. He moved with her, hips rolling in rhythm that had nothing to do with training and everything to do with the heat building between them for 3 weeks. Everyone's watching. We sell this, or we die. She let him lead, her body remembering Lagos dance halls and Sunday afternoons before everything changed. His hand splayed across her spine, fingers touching bare skin through the lace, and she felt the touch everywhere. You're good at this, she admitted. Dancing? I'm French. We're born knowing how to seduce. Is that what this is? His eyes met hers. Do you want it to be? The honest answer terrified her. So she said nothing, just moved with him, their bodies speaking a language neither could deny. Between songs, they worked. Amina identified 3 major buyers. Lucien planted micro-trackers on cargo manifests when no one was looking. They were professional, efficient, perfect, until someone at the party recognized Lucien. Morel! A Russian dealer pushed through the crowd. I heard you were dead! Everything changed in an instant. The Russian's hand moved toward his jacket. Amina's instincts screamed danger. Lucien shifted, putting his body between her and the threat. Gunfire erupted. The yacht descended into chaos. Dealers and buyers scattered or drew weapons. Amina grabbed Lucien's hand and ran for the stern, pulling him through the panic. There! He pointed to a speedboat tied below. They vaulted over the railing just as bullets chewed through the deck where they'd stood. Amina landed hard in the speedboat, Lucien beside her. He had the engine roaring before she'd caught her breath. They screamed across the Mediterranean, spray soaking them, yacht lights fading behind. Amina checked herself for injuries, found none, then turned to check Lucien. Blood stained his shirt, spreading from his ribs. You're hit. Noticed that. He kept one hand on the wheel, the other pressed to his side. Just a graze. That's not a graze. I've had worse. She took over the wheel, aiming for the safe house marina while examining his wound. Bullet had carved through muscle along his ribs. Painful, bleeding, but not fatal if treated quickly. You jumped in front of me, she said. Reflex. Stupid reflex. Would you prefer I let you get shot? I would prefer you not get shot. He laughed, then winced. Careful, Cherie. Starting to sound like you care. She didn't answer because the truth was sitting in her chest like a bomb. She did care. Somewhere between Marrakech and now, between fighting and dancing and pretending to be in love, she'd started actually caring whether Lucien Morel lived or died. Dangerous, unprofessional, impossible to ignore. 3 a.m. in the safe house, adrenaline crash hitting hard. Amina had basic field medical training, enough to clean and dress. Bullet wounds in environments where hospitals meant questions. Lucien sat on the bathroom counter, shirt discarded, while she worked. You're shaking, he observed. Adrenaline. A lie. Her hands shook because she'd almost lost him, and that realization terrified her more than the firefight had. Amina. She focused on the wound, refusing to meet his eyes. Cleaned, disinfected, bandaged, professional, detached. His hand caught her wrist. "Look at me." She looked. Mistake. His gray eyes held something raw, something that made her throat tight. "You're afraid," he said quietly. "I'm not afraid of you." "I know." His thumb traced her pulse point. "You're afraid of this, of what happens when the mission ends and we can't pretend anymore." The truth sat between them like a live grenade. "There's nothing to pretend about," she whispered, but the words tasted like lies. "No?" He pulled her closer, hand sliding to her hip. "Then why are you shaking?" "Because..." The excuse died when his other hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek with impossible gentleness. "Because this is real," he finished. "Because somewhere between you chasing me across rooftops and us pretending to be in love, it stopped being pretend." She should deny it, should push him away and reinforce boundaries that were already shattered. Instead, she kissed him. It was nothing like their first kiss in Marrakech. That had been tactical, a distraction. This was angry and hungry, and 3 weeks of tension exploding into contact. She kissed him like she was drowning and he was air, and he responded with equal desperation. His hands found her zipper, the red dress sliding down her shoulders. Her fingers traced his chest, careful of the bandage, mapping scars and muscle. They barely made it to the couch, shedding clothes and weapons and any pretense of professionalism. His mouth on her neck, her nails in his back, the couch too small, but neither caring. Breathy French and harsh Yoruba mixing with gasps and names. When they finally collapsed, tangled together and breathing hard, reality crept back in. "This is a mistake," Amina said to the ceiling. "Probably." Lucien's arm tightened around her waist. "But I'm French. We're excellent at beautiful mistakes." She wanted to laugh, wanted to cry, wanted to do this again despite every logical reason not to. "This doesn't change anything," she said. The mission is the mission. This," he pressed a kiss to her shoulder. "This is something else entirely." But even as she curled into his warmth, as exhaustion pulled her toward sleep, a small voice in her head whispered the truth she couldn't ignore. "You're falling for a criminal." And somewhere in Marseille, on Lucien Morel's encrypted phone, a message waited. A message he hadn't told her about. A message that, when she eventually found it, would destroy everything they'd just built. For 2 weeks, they lived in the gray space between mission and reality. Days were professional, tracking the weapons network, coordinating with Interpol, preparing for the final raid on the Kingpin's compound. Nights were something else entirely. Morning sunlight through safe house windows, the smell of coffee and something burning in the kitchen. "You're terrible at cooking," Amina said, rescuing the plantains before they became charcoal. Lucien leaned against the counter, wearing jeans and nothing else, watching her with an expression that made her skin warm. "I'm French. We have people to cook for us. You told me you could make Nigerian food. I said I would try. I didn't promise success." She laughed, a real laugh, unguarded, and flipped the plantains properly. He moved behind her, arms wrapping around her waist, chin on her shoulder. "I asked your file what you missed about home," he said quietly. It mentioned plantains. Something in her chest tightened. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to." She turned in his arms, studying his face. The scars seemed less severe in morning light. His eyes held something soft that didn't match his reputation as a cold-blooded dealer. "Why?" she asked. "Why do you care what I miss about home?" "Because," he kissed her forehead. "I'm trying to give you reasons to keep me alive when you discover I've been lying to you." The words were light, joking, but something in his tone made her stomach drop. "What?" "Nothing." He stepped back, smile back in place. "Just acknowledging that I'm a criminal and you're far too good for me." Before she could press, her phone rang. She answered, listened, hung up with a curse. "Problem?" Lucien asked. "My mother. Calling to remind me about my cousin's wedding next month and asking when I'm settling down." She rubbed her temples. "She doesn't understand this life. Thinks I'm wasting time chasing ghosts instead of building a real future." "What do you think?" "I think..." She paused, vulnerable in ways that scared her. "I think I don't know how to want normal things. A husband, kids, stability. That life seems impossible." Lucien was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice held something raw. Maybe you just haven't met anyone who makes the abnormal feel worth it. Their eyes met, held. Is that what you are? She whispered. Worth it? I'm trying to be. It was an accident. That's what Amina told herself later. Lucien had gone to meet his handler, standard check-in for the immunity deal. She'd been reviewing mission files on his laptop when a notification popped up. Encrypted message from 6 months ago. She should have closed it, should have respected his privacy. But the preview line stopped her cold. Her hands shook as she cracked his encryption. Child's play for someone with her training. The file opened. The room spun. 6 months. Right when she'd started tracking him. Right when... She scrolled through message history with numb fingers. His employer had hired him to kill her, to eliminate the tracker hunting him, and he'd said yes, or had he? She found his response. But the date... The date was the same day she'd first appeared on his radar. Not after Marrakech, not after he'd met her. The day he'd received the contract. Which meant what? That he'd refused to kill her sight unseen? That seeing her photo was enough? Or was this all part of a longer game? Another message, recent. Attached, a photo of Amina's 8-year-old niece outside her Lagos school. The phone slipped from her shaking hands. Everything recontextualized. Every touch, every confession, every moment she'd thought was real. Was any of it genuine? Or was she just a target who'd gotten too close, and he was waiting for the right moment to finish the job? The front door opened. Lucien's voice called out, "Amina?" She stood in the bedroom, his laptop still open, hands fisted at her sides to stop the shaking. He appeared in the doorway, took one look at her face and the screen, and went very still. "Amina, when?" Her voice came out steady despite everything. "When were you going to do it? After you fucked me one more time? Or were you waiting for me to fall in love with you first? It's not what you think. Don't." She stepped forward, all training and hurt crystallized into rage. "Don't say my name like it means something to you. Don't stand there and pretend this was real. It is real. You were hired to kill me 6 months ago. Everything since then. Marrakech, the mission, this..." She gestured between them. "Was this all just part of your plan?" "No." He moved toward her, stopped when she flinched. Pain flashed across his face. "I refused the contract, that first day, before I ever met you. I saw the messages. Your employer is threatening to send someone else. Because I won't complete the job." His voice rose to match hers. "Because I told them 6 months ago that I wouldn't kill you, and I've been stalling them ever since. Why should I believe anything you say? Because I'm standing here telling you the truth instead of running. Because I could have completed that contract 100 times over, in Marrakech, on the yacht, in this goddamn bed, and I didn't. You're a liar and a criminal." "I know." The words exploded out of him. "I know what I am. You think I'm proud of this? You think I wanted to be the man who had to choose between completing a contract and protecting the one person who's made me want to be better?" Silence crashed between them. "I didn't ask for this," he continued, voice breaking. "I didn't ask to see your photo and feel something shift. I didn't ask to spend 6 months running from you because I was terrified what would happen when you caught me. I didn't ask to fall in." He stopped, jaw clenched. "To fall in what?" she demanded. "To fall in love with the woman sent to arrest me." The confession hung in the air like smoke. "There. Happy? I love you. I've loved you since you tackled me into that fountain, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Because you're right. I'm a liar and a criminal, and you deserve so much better." Amina's breath came in gasps. "I don't believe you." "I know. I can't trust anything you say." "I know that too." "Then what do you want from me?" He pulled out his weapon, the one he always carried, and held it out to her, gripped first. "I want you to feel safe. If that means putting a bullet in me, do it." She stared at the offered gun. "This is manipulation. It's surrender." He stepped closer, placed the weapon in her hands. "You're right not to trust me. I've given you every reason not to. But I'm asking, begging, for the chance to prove that what we have is real. That I choose you over the contract, over the money, over everything." Her hands closed around the gun, both of them. She had 2 weapons now, his and hers, and he stood there unarmed, completely vulnerable. "The raid is tomorrow," she said coldly. "You get me through this alive. You help us take down the network. And then we're done. This, whatever this was, It's over. Pain flickered in his eyes. Okay. And if you even look like you're betraying this team, I won't hesitate. I know. She should have felt triumphant, should have felt vindicated. Instead, she just felt hollow. The Kingpin's compound sat in Marseille's hills, fortified and supposedly impenetrable. Interpol's tactical team moved in at midnight, Amina and Lucien positioned on the eastern perimeter. They hadn't spoken since the confrontation except for mission-critical communication. Professional, cold, necessary. The breach went smoothly, too smoothly. It's a trap, Lucien said quietly through the comm. He was right. Lights flooded the compound. Gunfire erupted from positions that shouldn't have been occupied. The Kingpin had known they were coming. There's a mole, Amina breathed, pressing against cover as bullets tore through the garden where they'd stood. Not me, Lucien said, meeting her eyes. I swear it's not me. She wanted to believe him. God help her, she wanted to. The firefight intensified. Amina got separated from the main team, pinned down in an equipment shed with 3 hostiles closing in. Her comm was damaged. No backup, no exit. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. Then, Lucien appeared behind her attackers like vengeance personified. He moved with lethal efficiency. 3 shots, 3 bodies dropping. But return fire caught him twice, once in the shoulder, once in the chest. He staggered, fell. Amina was on him in seconds, dragging him behind cover. No, no, no! Run, he gasped, blood spreading across his shirt. Get out. Not without you. Amina, I said not without you. She got her arms under his shoulders, hauling him up. He was too heavy, she was too small. But she'd be damned if she left him. She'd spent 6 months hunting him, 2 weeks falling for him. She wasn't losing him now. They made it to the extraction point as the compound exploded behind them, Interpol destroying the weapons cache. Medics swarmed Lucien, loading him into an ambulance. He never lost consciousness, never stopped looking at her. I'm sorry, he whispered as they closed the ambulance doors. For everything. Then he was gone, and Amina stood in the chaos of a successful mission, hands covered in his blood, wondering when exactly she'd decided that losing Lucien Morel would hurt worse than any betrayal. 4 days after the raid, Lucien survived surgery and infection and his employer's subsequent attempts at retaliation. Interpol had arrested the entire network. He lay in a private hospital room, handcuffed to the bed, because technically he was still a criminal, looking rough but alive. Amina brought Nigerian chin-chin, fried pastry, sweet and golden, from a Lagos restaurant in Marseille's immigrant quarter. Peace offering? Lucien asked as she sat in the chair beside his bed. Or closure? She opened the bag, set it on his lap. Haven't decided yet. They sat in silence for a long moment. Outside, Marseille carried on, oblivious to the fact that inside this room, 2 people were trying to figure out if love could survive betrayal. They found the mole, Amina finally said. One of the local agents, not you. I know. You took bullets for me. I know that too. Why didn't you tell me about the contract from the beginning? He considered the question carefully. Would you have believed me? That I refused the job the moment I saw your photo? That I spent 6 months running from you not because I feared arrest, but because I feared falling for you? No, she admitted. I would have thought it was a lie. Exactly. He shifted, winced at the pain. And maybe part of me thought, if you never knew, it wouldn't matter. We could have something real without that shadow between us. But secrets destroy things just as much as lies. Yeah. He looked at her finally, really looked at her. I'm sorry. For the contract. For not telling you, for making everything so goddamn complicated. I've been hunting people like you my entire career, she said quietly. I built my life on certainty. Good guys, bad guys, clear lines. You've made everything complicated. I know. I should hate you. You should. But I don't. The words cost her. And I don't know what that makes me. Human, he said softly. It makes you human. 3 weeks later, Lucien's immunity deal had been voided when the kill contract came to light, but Interpol offered a new arrangement. Work for them, burn his old life completely, become the asset who could infiltrate arms networks from the inside. He'd agreed without hesitation. Now he lived in supervised housing, attended debriefings, learned to be someone other than the man he'd been for 15 years. It was harder than any mission he'd ever run. Amina visited on a Tuesday evening. He was doing physical therapy, arm exercises to regain full range of motion after the shoulder wound. "You look terrible," she said from the doorway. "You look beautiful." He didn't smile, just stated it as fact. "But then, you always do." She entered slowly, like approaching something wild. "I've been thinking, dangerous, about what you said in the safe house about falling in love with me." He went very still. "Amina, I need to know if it was real. If any of it was real. Because I can't," her voice broke slightly, "I can't do this if it was all just part of the mission for you." "It was never part of the mission." He set down the resistance band, turned to face her fully. "The mission was supposed to be simple. Track you, assess the threat, refuse the contract, move on. But then I saw you, not just your photo, you, in Marrakech, dangerous and determined and so damn beautiful it hurt to breathe. And I thought, this is the woman who's going to ruin me. I'm still deciding if I want to ruin you or rebuild you. That's fair." She moved closer, stopped just out of reach. "I can't do this if there are any more secrets. Not one. I need complete transparency, even if it's ugly." "Okay. I need time. I need to rebuild trust brick by brick, and some days I'm going to wake up angry about what you did. I'll take whatever you give me. And you're working for Interpol now, which means you're working with me, under my supervision." A hint of his old smile. "Is that supposed to be punishment or reward?" "Both." They didn't kiss. Not yet. That would come later when enough bricks had been laid. Instead, they sat in his sterile apartment and talked. About the contract, all of it, about his life before her, about her brother and the rage that had driven her into this career, about what they wanted versus what they could actually have. "I don't know how to do this," Amina admitted, "how to love someone who was sent to kill me. I don't know how to be loved by someone I betrayed." He reached across the space between them, offered his hand. "But maybe we figure it out together." She looked at his hand. 6 months ago, she'd wanted to put handcuffs on those hands. 4 weeks ago, she'd wanted to shoot him. Now she took his hand. Lagos, Nigeria. Amina's family compound in the city's sprawling suburbs. Lucien Morel stood on the balcony in the oppressive evening heat, wearing light cotton and looking deeply uncomfortable. Inside, Amina's family conducted their assessment with typical Nigerian directness. Her mother had taken one look at him, white, French with a criminal history, and asked, "Is this the one who makes you miss Sunday dinner?" Her father had simply said, "You know how to shoot, yes?" When Lucien confirmed, he'd nodded once. "Good." Her 8-year-old niece, the same one from the photo, had immediately demanded he teach her card tricks. He'd spent an hour doing exactly that, patient and gentle in ways that made Amina's chest tight. Now, hours later, he looked exhausted. "Your mother hates me," he said when Amina joined him on the balcony. "She doesn't hate you. She just doesn't understand why I'd choose such a complicated man." "Why did you?" She leaned against the railing, watching Lagos sprawl beneath them, lights and chaos and home. "Because you're the only person who's ever made me feel like the complicated parts of me aren't something to fix. Because you see all of me, the angry, driven, messy parts, and you stay. Always," he promised. And this time, when he took her hand, it felt like the truth they'd built together from broken pieces. Inside, her family laughed about something. Tomorrow, they'd return to Marseille and the next mission. Next month, she'd face her mother's continued skepticism and his nightmares about the man he used to be. But tonight, they stood in the humid Lagos air, hands clasped, and let uncertainty feel like possibility instead of danger. "I love you," Amina said, because she could finally say it without fear. "I love you too," Lucien replied. "Even though you still look at me sometimes like you might shoot me. That's just my face. It's terrifying." "Good." They stood there as night deepened, two people who'd tried to destroy each other and somehow build something unbreakable from the wreckage. It wasn't simple or easy or anything like the love stories promised in movies, but it was real. And for two people who'd lived in lies, real was everything.